All right, in this next example, we're going to do the same thing, looking for the moment of inertia. We're going to switch the axes, though. We're going to look at the y-axis. So we want the IY, the moment of inertia of the in the around the y-axis for this shape. And in this case, we're going to have to add a shape and then subtract one. You can probably see it pretty quickly that the IY total, we're going to take the IY of this rectangle. And that's just going to grab the overall shape here. Whoops. Okay, that's going to be our overall rectangle. And then from there, we're going to subtract this half circle here. So we're going to take that rectangle and then subtract y of the semicircle. So let's start with the first one here, the IY of the rectangle. Uh, Putting that down here, IY of the rectangle. We need to figure out what the value of that is, and if it's in our table, or if we need to use the parallel axis theorem. So looking at the shape right above here, just going to bring these together. You'll notice that the green axis, what's that represent here? The green axis, if we were to bring it onto this shape, would be this one here. And that's the y-axis for what's represented. But there's no y-axis here or here. One of the things we can do with this is it doesn't matter what the orientation of this is. If we come back and look at doing this, we can say, hey, let's make the green axis down here. Even though it's rotated 90 degrees, that allows us to utilize, it doesn't matter which direction it is. We're basically going to say, hey, our base is here, and we're going to be standing on this. And so we're kind of reorienting that, almost pretending that the y-axis is the x-axis in the image. So that's going to represent what ours is. And now we need to figure out, okay, in this image then, what's the base and what's the height? So if we put our person in here looking at, okay, that's the base and the height here, you can see that the base is actually going to be this distance, and then the height is going to be this one. So you got to kind of reorient yourself to be able to see that correctly, but that means that we are going to use this one right here, bh cubed over 3, and we're not going to use this one. And why is it? That is the one that goes through the centroid again. So that centroid one is the one that goes through that. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the one through the green axis. In this case here, that'll be bh cubed over 3. And the b value is equal to, in this case here, you can see that it's twice the radius, so it's going to be 60 millimeters. And then the height is the full height of that rectangle, 100 millimeters. Okay, now we're going to build out the IY of the semicircle. And this is where it gets a little tricky. That semicircle, again, we're looking at this shape right here. If we looked at the centroid, it's right there. Again, we care about the z-axis, and I'm going to scroll down here so we can kind of see what that is. Where are we positioning our centroid according to our axis, and the centroid according to how this is shown? And I'm going to go to here and say, where's that green axis here if it were being represented on that? And so what I want to do here is I'm just going to put in just a red axis through the base here. So this is our base axis. Just to orient us, that means this is our base. Notice that the green one is parallel to that, but it's going to be essentially like right here. So this is our y-axis that we have here. And so we need to figure out a couple things. First off, what equation are we going to use? Since it's the axis that we're looking at, which is this one, isn't on the shape in either the x or through the centroid here. Since it's neither of those, we have to use the parallel axis theorem. So that parallel axis theorem is iy prime plus dx squared times a. So what is iy prime? Iy prime is the one that goes through the centroid. So the one that goes through the centroid, this would be the x prime axis, And that's in the same direction as what this is right here. So this would be the I x prime. Notice that we're having to shift the x and the y. We're looking at the relationship that way. That's your highlighted axis is the represented through the centroid. Now, which one of these, 1, 2, or 3, represents that yellow one? The yellow x prime axis. Notice that that bar or prime is the one that we want to use. That's the x prime axis, which represents this axis right here. So we're going to use that one right there of is equal to pi over 8 minus 8 over 9 pi times r to the fourth. That is our y prime. And then what we need to do is find out, okay, what's dx and what is our area? Let's look at dx next. Dx is the distance from the base that we care about, that's the green axis, to the centroid. It's always to the centroid, and how far did we shift from there? So this is that d of x value. In order to get that, what we're going to do is start with the 100 meters here. So we have, or the 100 millimeters, and then we're going to subtract off this distance here. So we start with 100 millimeters, and then we need to subtract that distance. Now, what is that distance? You'll come back to here. You remember that this y prime represents how far it's the 4r over 3 pi from the base of that triangle here back to the centroid, which is what we're doing from the base to the centroid. That's our y prime, which is equal to 4r over 3 pi. So we subtract that 4r over 3 pi. Just to be clear, the 30 millimeters is our R value. We'll put that in. And then finally, our area is going to be very simply pi r squared over 2. Okay, so we put all that in, and we're going to add those together. If we put everything all together, our I total is equal to, making sure that this is a negative sign here, subtracting that from there, you're going to get 9.14 times 10 to the 6th millimeters to the fourth. Okay, so the thing to be careful with here is making sure that the axes that we are utilizing is aligned with, on the figure, which orientation. And in some cases here, it's almost best to think about this. Think of this as like an I-axis and a J-axis, and figuring out which one of those you're utilizing, because when the X and the Y can kind of get confusing. If you're just coming here and looking for IX and IY, you're not orienting it correctly, and actually have to do the work to figure out what orientation represents that image that's present there.